Hello, YouTuber. If there's anyone still on YouTube, I'm sure there are. We just don't do it all that much. Um, haven't done a video in quite a long time, but we said we really should get back to doing our convention updates. So this is our first one for 2015. Our second convention, we did Monster Mania in March. This is for Chiller Theater, and it was just this past weekend, April 24th to the 26th, Parsippany, New Jersey. The biggest reason we went down there was they had announced a ultra rare guest that Teresa had to meet. So without further ado, why don't you tell her this whole story of who it was?
Well, I am a big fan of the group The Monkees, and I have an album signed by Davy Jones,
Don't like
Peter
the
Tork,
You don't like the actual life forms though, right? No. Okay.
and
Just the band.
yeah, and Mickey Dolenz. But the only one I don't have is Mike Nesmith, and he was actually making an appearance at Chiller this year. So I have this album called Pikes, Aquarius, Capricorn, and Jones Ltd.
Pikeys?
Pisces.
Oh,
And I had him sign my album. And he was very nice, very engaging, and I got to tell him what I really thought about the band and how I loved them so much and how they impacted my life when I was growing up. So it was great to meet him.
and you were able to complete your first piece, right?
Yes, it's all done.
Yeah, Nesmith is notorious for not signing a lot, and when he does, he will sign his solo work. Not too much on the monkey stuff. He has done recently, in recent years, some convention like the monkey conventions. This was one of the first ones I'd seen him just in a general convention atmosphere, so we had to take that opportunity, and what a process, because it was. We got in line really early, and that was just to get tickets, and then from there that was to get tickets for to get him to sign, and then it was waiting to get in to see him. So all told, it was probably a 3 hour wait, maybe 2 hours wait.
Yeah,
Yeah.
about that.
About that. So after seeing Nesmith, we went and saw another genre legend. Um, there isn't a person out there that hasn't seen him in one of the many films he's done, but a lot of people probably don't really know his name, and that would be the original that guy, Dick Miller. Dick is getting up there in age. He's probably anyways from 78 to 80, 83 years old. Who knows? Um, he was there. He was. I was a little surprised because I thought he was going to be a little cheaper. He was 50 for a combo, and but he was pretty pleasant. Answered all the questions. He's got a documentary coming out called "That Guy Dick Miller," probably under the same title with .com at the end if you're interested. And Teresa really wanted to meet him because she's a fan of his work, especially in the Gremlins films. One of your favorite characters, huh?
Yeah. He actually signed my Gremlins color form. And he signed his name and his character name. And he was very pleasant to meet. He was nice, and he was just a great guy.
Little guy, too.
Yeah, he is tiny.
Yeah. While we're on the subject of Millers, not too far away from the Dick Miller table was the Linda Miller table. Now, if you're not familiar with the Linda Miller name, don't worry, we'll let you know who she is. She only did a few films, but she was one of the stars of the movie Green Slime, which had just lost out to an Oscar to How Green Is Her Valley. She was also in King Kong Escapes, the rather poorly done Japanese/U.S. version of the classic film. They basically recreated a costume with the kind of the unblinking eyes, and I say that affectionately because it is an entertaining movie. We watched it recently and had a blast in, watching that. So she told us how she got involved with it. Plus, it was a Rankin and Bass film. And if you're not familiar, if you grew up watching those Christmas specials like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and A Year Without Santa Claus and all that, that's Rankin and Bass. So um, for whatever reason, she even said that her voice in the actual film was dubbed over by the same person that did the voice of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So that's whose voice it is and is in this movie. So what do we have her sign?
We had her sign the Japanese poster of King Kong Escapes.
Nice little poster. We're actually going to get another opportunity to get the actor who portrayed King Kong on the poster as well. So we're looking forward to that. We also went to see another gentleman by the name of Terry Kaiser. Terry Kaiser is most known for playing the part of Bernie Lomax in the Weekend at Bernie films. We had him sign our Friday the 13th alumni poster. Tremendous guy to me. He was so upbeat, full of energy, really excited to be there. He loved the poster. He was looking at the different desks. I mean, people walked by and he would point it out to him. He goes, "Look at this thing! Look at this thing!" He was a funny dude. But he signed the poster, including how he died, which was being disemboweled by a tree saw. Also, while doing Friday the 13th, we got to see a original alumni from the first movie, one that we never thought we'd actually see, which was Robbie Morgan, who played Annie, who was supposed to be the cook for the reopening of Camp Crystal Lake. She's the one that opens the film hitchhiking into the town and hitches a ride only to have her throat slashed open. Robbie's this perky woman who was just great to talk with, very fun woman. She had at one point was looking at the poster and wondering how to describe how she died. She's like, "Throat what?" She's like, "Slit," and she made this face that literally looked just like the face she was making in the movie.
She was very nice, very engaging. She was a great meet.
While we're roaming around the convention, we also got to meet a director who I was a big fan of, Jim Wynorski. Jim directed the film right above us here, Chopping Mall. And we chatted with him about that. He had mentioned how the original title, Killbots, just totally bombed when they first presented it to the public. And he thought he just did this crappy film because it was his second film that he had done. It got pulled back, retitled Chopping Mall, and then started doing really good business for him. And he's like, wow, that was it. It was just the title. Jim's kind of gone on to have make a living out of doing low budget CGI creature features that you would see on Sci-Fi. He did the remake of the Corman film Wasp Woman. He did
Crocosaurus versus
Super Gator.
I was thinking, say it wrong.
Well, there's so many versions of those films. Let's see, he did Camel Spiders, and this one we picked up that he signed for us, which is most recent one, Piranhaconda. I asked him with all these creature features why he hadn't done a shark one yet, and he informed me that he does have one in the can. It's coming right out soon, and it's going to be called Shock and Saw Women's Prison Massacre. Gold. Also mentioned that Shopping Mall soon to come out on Blu-ray as well. So it was pretty cool to meet Jim Wynorski. Again, he's not in the echelon of the Cravens and the Carpenters and the Romeros for genre films, but still really enjoy his movies. And in the end, whether you watch him on Sci-Fi or not, did you enjoy it? Was it fun? Sure. Let's see. Did we go see anybody else, or we were done?
Yes, Machine Man Maria.
Ah, that's right. Another one which had interested us was, if anyone's familiar with the film 1925 Metropolis by Fritz Lang, is a very memorable looking character. It was a robot that they called the Machine Man, and they named her Maria, which I guess in 1925 you didn't want to use the word machine woman. But Maria has always been one of these iconic images and very creative for its day. Well, the guy that created Maria and sculpted her was a German sculptor named Walter Schultz Mittendorf. Now, his daughter, Bettina, was actually in attendance at the convention, honoring her father's work, and she had partnered up with, I believe, a company up in Canada and a sculptor up there where she was sharing his designs and original information that he had. And in a 6-year project, he resculpted as it was in 1925 Maria. So obviously I don't have anything here to show you. We did get photos with the robot as well as some close-up pictures of it. So it was pretty cool to see something brought back to life.
Yeah, you did a great job.
Just shot about 90 years ago. And of course, when we're at a convention, we cannot stop but to add items to our growing collection. A couple things that we picked up. Added to the library. Struck a deal for this Too Much Horror Business, the book put out by Metallica guitarist Kirk Hammett. Effectively, it's just a bound copy of Kirk's incredible collection of movie memorabilia and posters and all sorts of stuff that, being in one of the most successful bands, allows him to buy all this stuff. Also picked up a copy of The Art of Basil Gogos. The iconic artist, we got to meet him last year at Chiller, which was such a treat because I grew up a huge fan of his work. He was in attendance again this year, so I brought along the book and had him sign it down here. And the signature is a lot shakier, so it's getting a lot tougher for him to sign stuff. But still, it's a treat to have gotten a chance to meet him on now 2 occasions. We also had picked up some photos for the multimedia room there, the memorabilia room.
Yeah, the first one we picked up was Dracula's Daughter.
Gloria Holden, and this was this actual sequel to the 1932 film Dracula. For whatever reason, they decided not to incorporate Bela Lugosi. Very underrated film. Fantastic film.
And then we picked up one of my favorites, London After Midnight.
One of the rare stills, because it is a lost film. It doesn't even exist in print anymore, so it's only a few stills that they have available. And Teresa, of course, is obsessed with this movie, so she had to add a shot for the room.
And my husband's favorite.
Speaking of obsessions.
Yvonne DiCarlo as Lily Munster.
Yeah, I probably have a rather unhealthy obsession with Yvonne DiCarlo, who I found to be one of the most strikingly beautiful women, even beyond the Lily Munster thing. If you see her in general, she was beautiful. Um, we also got time to spend some time with some other well-regarded monster kids. Um, one of such being Cortland Hull of the Witch's Dungeon, and his colleague Walter, um, which, despite probably talking with him for about 90 minutes, we never got his last name, did we?
No.
Anyways, Walter is a graphic artist, and he did a lot of recreations of old title cards and lobby cards. He would adapt old European ones and give them a U.S. treatment, so it would be like a cool variant of them. So we had picked up some his pieces. We got this one here, a reproduction of the Val Lewton produced The Body Snatcher, starring Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi. Uh, People have seen our channel know that Teresa and I are huge fans of this movie. We love The Body Snatcher, and we could not pass up adding that to the film. These things are incredible. These are on 110 pound stock paper. They are really, really nice rigid pieces that look great framed up. And of course, Teresa picked out this one here. Go ahead.
London After Midnight.
Again, another variant of the title card for it. And then this is what they call a number 9 lobby card. And what that means is lobby cards are sent out in sets of 8. So the 9th one... Okay.
I'll be right back. I'll do it again. I'm sorry. Oh God, I couldn't stop.
Pee-pee break. The number 9 card is a mocked up card, usually like a really cool scene that they never chose to use as a lobby card. And this one here is the Wizard of Oz card that they created with the witch melting. We also had picked up there was another recreated title card, like a Phantom TV title card for the 1920s version of the Phantom of the Opera with Lon Chaney. And it had this artwork that Teresa really liked, and she was commenting on it. And the gentleman had said, "Wow, we actually have that just as a standalone lithograph. That's a painting that Cortland had done." So we picked up a copy of this one here. It's on 100-pound linen, and Cortland signed it for us as well. So this is going to be matted and get matted up and framed up to 16 by 20 and should look pretty cool in the house. And lastly, I'm a huge fan of the Sideshow Toys Universal line that came out so many years ago. Sadly, I wasn't really into it at the time knew about them to get in at the ground level and pick them up. So I've been slowly building the collection up. And I saw this at a dealer 2 years ago and I've been trying to get it ever since. So finally I went over and basically retraced the whole timeline. The conversation we had 2 years ago, kept reiterating, "You've had this thing for 2 years." So I said, "How about selling it to me for this price?" And I guess the reality of knowing that it's been sitting on his shelf for that long, he's like, "Okay." And he sold me this one here, which is the Mole People 12-inch. So really pumped up to add this one to the collection. I don't know how many I have at this point. So that was it for Chiller. We actually have a couple more conventions this spring/summer, and we will hope to at least continue to make these updates as well. For anyone that watches it on YouTube, thank you very much. Comment below. I don't know how often I'm even on YouTube. And of course, anyone that sees it on Facebook, hey, I'm going to comment. Leave a comment. I'll reply. So thank you very much on behalf of myself. Thank you very much on behalf of my squirrel bladdered wife. And we'll talk to you later.